Hi, I'm Pieterjan. I'm product marketeer at Sensolus and welcome to a new episode of Track and Talk. This is our channel where we keep track on how IoT can help you to make all your assets visible, from a small box to a giant container. And today I'm joined by Tom.
Hello Pieterjan, thank you for having me.
Yes, Tom, you are the COO from Sensolus, so I'm glad we have you on the show. We will talk about how to scale an IoT company, as we are with Sensolus. But before we talk about that, I always want to know from my guests what gives you energy. Because battery life for our trackers is important, but I always want to know from my colleagues what gives you the energy to charge your batteries.
For me, Pieterjan is actually a mix of going all in and slowing down. So
Okay.
I love to spend time in nature. I love to go hiking, to go kayaking, to spend time with family. But I also like to go out with some friends to spend some social life time. And what I also learned to appreciate over the past couple of years is actually going to network events where you can learn from your peers, to get ideas from others. That's really refreshing, that's really recharging, and then use that to go actually all in when you come back.
Using that knowledge within Sensolus.
Voilà.
Now, talking about Sensolus, we will talk about how to scale an IoT company. You've been around for a couple of years now at Sensolus. How do you see the shift from a startup to a scale-up? What are for you the learnings there?
Yeah. If you are a startup, it's all about finding that right product market fit. It's about looking for that first customer that really, where you can really solve the problem. Going to a scale-up, it's finding those multiple companies where you can solve multiple problems. Actually, we started with tracking animals.
What kind of animals did we track then in the beginning?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it were chickens.
Chickens.
It were chickens.
Okay.
But actually now, if you look to our client portfolio, we serve customers, OEM customers like Airbus, like ABM, for example.
Big global leaders, I could say.
Okay. So in that mix, it's very easy to get lost and to try to serve everything. So actually the crux of trying to scale a company is not always having to say yes, but it's really focusing on things that matter, and actually every now and then say no to certain things.
So focus is an important general learning. Maybe zooming in on Sensolus, what are the things you learned from being at Sensolus, and how did you deal with the challenges we had as a company to scale?
First, a little bit of what is Sensolus in my views. So we are we're not a pure IoT company.
Indeed,
Nor we are a pure SaaS company. So we are actually a mix of both. So we are a hardware-infused SaaS company, let's say. But that means that from day one, from the start of the company, we had to have a very diverse mix of skills in the team. So you need hardware, because our hardware needs to be very robust. Everything was focused around security, data security, because we actually, in essence, we are a data company. And then it's about the SaaS platform where all the information is gathered, is visualized, where data is turned into learnings. So all those skills combined, we needed to have in a company. In a startup, that's very complex. In a scale-up, that's also complex. So that's from day one we learned to work with partners on the commercial side, but also on the development side. So and that's actually one of the unique things, that we actually are not operating as a standalone basis. Sensolus is the heart of an ecosystem, and that is actually the core and the strength of us going forward.
All right, interesting. Now, how is the difference then exactly between scaling SaaS versus IoT? You have sort of a framework that you apply, and there's certain pillars. So I would like to start maybe with the first one, being organization. How do you see the challenges on an organizational level for scaling an IoT company?
Scaling an organization comes from adding more people to the mix. It's being from a small team to a larger team. So there, everybody needs to be aligned. So we need to start finding the right balance in making sure that everybody knows what to do.
Because today we're active in different regions. I mean, Belgium, Netherlands, France, DACH region, UK, even the US today.
So True, and I actually like to compare that sometimes with playing in a band. So if you are a startup, it's kind of a jam session.
Indeed. I see what you're going.
People try different instruments. All the people on board, they are multi-talented. They try until they find the right mix.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we need specialists. So we need a guitar player that knows how to play guitar. We need a singer that knows how to sing. And that's actually the organizational shift that you need to have, that everybody knows and finds its place, that we have a score, a partiture, that everybody plays in tune at the same time.
Which brings me maybe to the next question, because leadership is also part of the framework and culture. So how do you see the leadership, the role of leadership in the scaling phase?
Yeah. A startup is typically what is a founder-led company. It's always about founders. If you listen to the ecosystem here, specifically in Ghent, we have a lot of tech ecosystems. You see a lot of founder communication, founder-led communication. If you move to a scale-up, that's where you start to evolve to a distributed leadership, they call it. It's giving people the authority to operate. It's giving people ownership, which is actually one of our values. So it's becoming very important that you, what we say, codify your culture, that you make it very specific, so that we learn to give ownership to people, and that we also expect from people to take ownership.
And I think then the financial part comes in as well, being metric driven as well. And that, I would assume, also an important part of the scaling history.
Yeah, indeed. Becoming a data-driven company. So we spent over the past 2 years, we spent a lot of time in trying to find metrics that are valuable to us.
Can you give an example of what applies for Sensolus at this moment?
If you look to the IoT SaaS industry in general, people talk a lot about lifetime value over the customer acquisition cost. So this is one of the magic metrics that external people look at and evaluate your company with. But it's also actually very important to drive the direction of your business. Right. So what does that actually mean? It means that a lifetime value is what does a customer bring as monetary value over its life cycle when it's on board. You have to divide that by the money it costs to acquire that customer. So everything there is about having that right ratio, finding that right ratio. So we started to tune in our company and try to segment our customers based on these things. Because also what we know, and which is very important, I think it's every customer is important. Every customer is important, but not every customer brings the same amount of value. Scaling is not necessarily about saying no to customers. It's about being smart in how to onboard certain customers. If they are a smaller or lower monetary value, that means we can spend less effort on it. So we need to automatically onboard them, and that's actually that's giving that specific focus on bigger customers. We can spend much more time, much more customized effort to that. So it's that full granularity that derives from data, from metrics, that we steer activities.
You started by saying in the stock, product market fit is of course important. I can imagine technology readiness is in the scale-up phase still important to know what is the level of my product and how can it help me to move forward. So
Actually, for us, again, product readiness is about, we have a hardware component, but we also have the SaaS, the scalability. We have over 1 million assets connected to our platform. So we can go to 10 million, we can go to 50 million. We have a horizontal infrastructure that can easily scale with how we grow. From a hardware perspective, everything is about durability, modularity, so not every time reinventing the wheel, but trying to build on existing platforms. And that is something that we did from the beginning extremely well in Sensolus.
If I would ask you to give one piece of advice to founders, IoT, SaaS, doesn't matter, you want to share with us, what would that be?
I want to come back first to my fifth pillar.
Okay,
because we were talking about 5 pillars. And it's last but not least, but it's about strategy. The strategy of the company needs to be extremely clear. We need to know what is our ideal customer. We need to go in with the right go-to-market motions. And in that sense, we need to make choices. You have to scale internationally, but you don't scale to all countries in one go. So you focus actually where it is.
So focus would be then?
Focus would be making choices what not to do.
Yeah, all right. Would that then be the piece of advice that you would use as a standout advice, or something else you want to?
I want to come back a bit to my band, to the music thing I used. If you are a founder operating in a startup and you want to move to a scale up, I would say try to play one instrument really well rather than playing full set of instruments. Trying to pick your place in the organization that you feel comfortable with, and let other people in your team, surround yourself with other people that can help you form actually a band, forming a world-class band. And for people joining, make sure that you're bringing the enthusiasm, the energy that typically drives around and makes scale-ups perform very well.
I'll remember the band comparison you made, because this podcast is also available on Spotify. So if you're interested in read or listen more about this, YouTube, Spotify is available for you to watch the shows. On the website, we also have the Knowledge Hub. So please go there to get more insights on IoT and startup, scale-up information about that. Tom, I want to thank you for your time, for your insights, and hope to see you maybe on the next time in the show.
Thank you, Pieterjan.
Yes. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.